If you're enjoying the Trees and Lines podcast, please head over to our Trees and Lines LinkedIn page and give us a follow. Thanks. We're here at Trees and Utilities, another podcast. We have as a guest Dan Morrow, Vice President of Programs and Partnerships. Did I get that right, Dan?
You did.
With the Arbor Day Foundation. And
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Maybe start us off by telling us a little bit about Arbor Day Foundation, your role specifically. It's obviously a great conference, and how you guys sort of interface with everyone here.
Yeah. So, as you all mentioned, my name's Dan Morrow.
Yep.
I'm the Vice President of Programs and Partnerships at the Arbor Day Foundation. So, I have a very unique role. I get to work with a lot of our partners, whether that be on the corporate side as well as our programmatic side, like our great friends and partners at the Utility Arborists Association, which is who we partner with to host this awesome conference that just continues to grow year after year. I've been with the foundation for about 10 years. And so, I came up through kind of the fundraising arm, and then I've just continued to take on more responsibilities as well, but it's been a great career arc for me, and I really enjoy what we do. So,
what is your membership base?
So our membership base is around 1 million individuals. So we have individuals, we have partners, we have programmatic partners as well that all support the work that we do.
Wow.
And one thing that I pride ourselves on as an organization is we have a very simple mission. So we inspire people to plant, nurture, and celebrate trees. And it's something that we're really proud of. It's something that really resonates with both our membership as well as our corporate partners and our programmatic partners. And we hear it over and over again. It's like, wow, your mission just resonates. We understand what you do. And they really appreciate the work that we do with them as well.
That's fantastic.
So tell us about your partnerships. What does that involve, and what do the partners, what is their contribution, and what do they get out of it?
Yeah. So it's just a wide variety. It could be programmatic partners, so partners that help us facilitate tree planting events. That could be urban tree planting events, as well as large-scale reforestation events as well. On kind of the development and fundraising side, we work with a wide variety of corporate partners. I think we have about 250 corporate partners right now that support our work kind of all across the gamut. So that could be, like I said, urban tree planting events, community-based engagement events, get their employees out there, wearing company t-shirts, getting them active in the community, to large-scale reforestation events. So think rural reforestation projects all across the globe. We're in about 50 countries now.
Wow.
So that's both on the rural side and the urban side as well. And then we do work with companies on climate mitigation plans as well. So that could come in the form of verified emission reduction credits, which are carbon offsets as well as large-scale reforestation efforts, as I said. So across the gamut, programmatic, corporate funding, as well as members. So
Wow, you're busy.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
So what's the balance between rural tree planting and urban tree planting?
Yeah, so we probably do about 70% of our work is on the rural side, so reforestation side, and then 30% of our plantings are in the urban side. So
where are you based?
We're based in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Okay.
Yeah. So the home of the Arbor Day Foundation is actually in Nebraska City, Nebraska.
Okay.
Our founder was born in Michigan, and then he pioneered over to Nebraska. And one thing he noticed was the lack of trees. And so he founded the Arbor Day holiday. Wow. And as legend goes, on that first Arbor Day holiday in 1872, more than 1 million trees were planted in the state of Nebraska.
Wow.
So then the Arbor Day Foundation was founded 100 years later in 1972 in celebration of that first holiday.
You're a nonprofit, right?
We are a nonprofit, correct.
They have a fantastic conference center and hotel there, and it's really a cool place to visit.
You've been there, Phil?
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Actually, the Trees and Utilities Conference, that originated as an Arbor Day Foundation event.
Yep.
And they did it to bring communities and utilities together.
Yep.
And then it slowly transitioned into one of your partners program or whatever that I
Yeah.
don't even recall what it's named.
Yeah, I'm glad you bring that up. I actually highlighted it in my opening. When the first conference we had between 50 and 100 people, and it was hosted at Lead Lodge and Conference Center at Arbor
Wow.
Day Farm. And of course, I'm partial. I love the property. It's a great place to have a conference.
Really?
But we quickly outgrew it. I mean, we're going to approach 1,300 attendees at this conference this year.
Wow.
And so going from 50 to 113, or I'm sorry, 1,300 in just 25 years is pretty
Lincoln
incredible.
is where University of Nebraska is, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Are you guys engaged with them as well? Are they involved?
Yep, we do. They have an urban forestry program there as well.
Okay.
They are Lincoln's Tree City USA,
Yep.
and then the University of Nebraska Lincoln is
Yep.
Tree Campus USA as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Prior to the Arbor Day Foundation, you said you've been there for about 10 years.
Yep.
Take us a little bit through your career journey. Like, have you always been somewhat affiliated with the environmental side of things? Like, how did you come to this role?
No, I actually wasn't. So I went to school. I'm a Lincoln kid. So I
Okay.
was born and raised in Lincoln, went to the University of Nebraska, and then I got a business degree. And so when I got out of college, I went into banking. So I did banking for about 10 years, the first 10 years of my career.
Okay.
And then I knew some folks at the Arbor Day Foundation who just reached out to me and said, hey, I feel like if this work interests you, I think you could add a lot of value to our team.
Wow.
So I went out to lunch and said, I don't know anything about trees.
Yeah.
And the folks that I knew said the exact same thing. They said, either did we, but I trust you, you can learn it. And it's all about just building relationships. And so that's one thing that we really
very
pride ourselves on is we just build relationships. We always say we're not the tree experts, but we're connectors, we're conveners, and we're always making sure that we're working with the right folks.
So I'm curious, when you do your urban plantings, I mean, the problem with urban trees is keeping them alive, right? So is that part of the partnership? You have people that follow up and maintain?
Yep, we do. So we lead the Alliance for Community Trees, which is a network of localized nonprofits all across the country. There's about 400 of those groups that are in the Alliance for Community Trees, and they are one of the networks that we facilitate our tree plantings with. So when we get funding from either a donor or a corporate partner, they'll help facilitate the actual tree planting, and then they'll provide up to 3 years of maintenance on those trees as well. So that's watering, it's making sure that the trees are cared for, because we all know the first few years of a tree's establishment is the most important.
And is some of that around low canopy portions of the city? Is there a goal or strategy?
Yeah, so we actually have a goal to get into 90% of all neighborhoods of greatest need based on some data sets that we work with. And so we've been working with our funders to help drive funding into those neighborhoods of greatest need. So
What would you say to I guess a younger version of yourself who, is considering an opportunity, working in the nonprofit space, working in the I call it the environmental space. Like, how would you market the opportunity to that person to come work for the Arbor Day Foundation?
It's a great question. I always tell, kind of my cohorts of leaders at the foundation that if something would ever take me away from the foundation, which I'm planning not, it would need to be mission-based work. I think I came from a for-profit kind of business background. I didn't know that mission-oriented work was something that either I was striving for or something that I needed, but now it's just part of my soul. Wherever I go, I feel like there's going to have to be a purpose. And I've loved my time at the Arbor Day Foundation. We just continue to grow. So I think as I would reflect back on, the Dan Morrow's coming up in 10 years or so, I would say really seek internal and decide how important mission-oriented work is for you.
Yeah.
Because I love telling the stories about the dollars invested in the organization go back out to the community, go back out.
You can see it.
You can see it. It goes to areas of need. It's important. It's not going to shareholders. It's not going to a private family that owns an organization. It's going to benefit all of us.
What is one or two key things that you guys want to, get done over the next kind of 5 years? Like what's on the agenda for the Arbor Day Foundation that's maybe something new and innovative that you guys are thinking about?
Yeah, so we have two very ambitious goals between now and June 30th of 2027, and that's to plant 500 million trees across the entire globe in forests and neighborhoods.
So are you already working on that number?
We are already working our way up there, yes. And the 500 milestone is because over our first 50 years as an organization, we planted 500 million. And we thought, hey, let's challenge ourselves and let's try to do that over 5.
Wow.
So
ambitious.
it's given me a lot of gray hair. But it's ambitious, and that's one thing I like about our organization.
great goal.
With our network of partners, we want to challenge ourselves to get that done. And then the second piece is to make sure that 90% of all those trees are going to areas of need.
Yes.
So that's based on some data that we have that we call the Forest Priority Index, as well as some urban data as well to drive into neighborhoods.
Wow.
Dan, I know you have an important role coming up here in a few minutes, so we won't keep you much longer.
Well, listen,
I just want to give a kudos to your team, the UAA
definitely.
team. What a great conference, and they are just so pleasant to work with.
Yeah, thank you.
They do a good job.
I greatly appreciate that. We pride ourselves on our team, and they work really, really hard to make this a great event. So thank you for saying
Well,
that.
they have.
It's a true pleasure. We can see the work on display. I've heard nothing but positive things, and as you walk around the conference. So congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to find myself. I got to get to Lincoln and maybe come say hello and kind of take a look at what you guys are doing. I think it's fascinating, and
It is a beautiful lodge.
Yeah,
Take your family.
you absolutely should. You're welcome anytime.
No, I really appreciate that. Congratulations again, and thanks again for making time.
Yeah, thank you. It was great.
Ed.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
That's it for this episode of Trees and Lines, brought to you by Iapetus Holdings. If you like the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify. If you have any questions or comments on any of our episodes or ideas for topics or guests, we'd love to hear from you. Please contact us at treesandlines@iapetusllc.com. We'll chat with you soon.